Hey there, this is Clay Cuts, a performance coach with Square Peg Coaching. I'm here with my friend and one of my former clients, Mr. Robert Nowlin. And I will let Bob sort of introduce himself a little bit here in just a minute. And I'm going to talk to Bob about his experience working with me and just find out if there's anything helpful about our work together. So thanks for hanging out with me, Bob.
I'm glad to be here.
All
Happy
right.
to.
Yeah, great. So you want to just maybe take just a minute or two and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and where you are and those sorts of things?
Uh, my name's Bob Nowlin. I'm a retired ER physician. I met Clay about 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago at Talbot Recovery Center in Atlanta. Uh, I have been very happily sober for 5 years now, and Clay played a big role in getting me that way. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff. And so I guess the first question I had for you was, do you want to talk a little bit about where you were in your life? Because we worked together a few years ago, and then we had a little bit of contact over the years, and then we reconnected for coaching. And I mean, things were going fairly well for you at that time. You were sober, and like your marriage was better, and a lot of good things going on. Um, but do you want to talk a little bit about where you were in your life that caused you to say, "Hey, let's do a little bit of coaching together"?
Of course. After after I got out of recovery, I took me about a year to decide that I had to retire from corporate medicine. Kind of a conflict of interest deal, and I wasn't really ready to give up being a physician. I
Mhm.
just didn't want to be a physician with those guys. So I retired and developed a relationship with a recovery program in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and ultimately ended up becoming a board member and a counselor, and kind of struggled with some ideas that I had about what I was what I wanted from that experience.
Mhm.
And that's when I reached out to you and said, "Hey, I've got some ideas that have me a little bit worried, and
Okay.
just the details of that are that I was a very angry person, and after I got my head on straight, uh, I was a little bit afraid that the old me would wake up. And when I got into working with Harbor House, that's the recovery program that I'm on the board, uh, I had some ideas about expansion and doing more to help people. And it concerned me that I was kind of trying to take the reins and become maybe the old Bob.
Mm.
Uh, and since I didn't certainly want to go back to that, I reached out to Clay, and we had a dozen sessions of an hour.
That sounds about
And
right. Yeah.
yeah, and in that 12 1 hour sessions, certainly helped a lot to get some things straight in my mind.
I mean, I hope you learned some new things from me. Was there anything in particular that stood out from our work that was particularly helpful?
Well, several. Well, one in particular was that, like most alpha males, I convert fear to anger.
Mm.
And most of my anger was related to my insecurity. And when I finally got that straightened out, I wasn't mad anymore. I wasn't afraid anymore. Maybe that's a better way to put it. But I think the thing that really sticks in my mind is we talked about the internal family system, and uh, that basically my ego wasn't my enemy, that it was a part of me that was there for a purpose. And I think the comment that you made that made the most sense to me was, you don't deal with a scared child by telling him to shut up and sit in the corner. And anyway,
Yeah.
uh, uh, once I kind of made friends with the old me and realized why I behaved the way I did, I wasn't so concerned about that part of me taking the reins again. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it makes a lot of sense to me.
Makes a ton of sense to me, that just sort of sense of, I don't have to fight all the time. I can just sort of be more at peace and not just be in conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That must feel great, Bob.
The feel good part about this is that in the last year we've made some changes, and we are now becoming a very successful recovery program. Not successful in the financial realm, but successful in the helping people realm. We're a not for profit. We just expanded to our third residential facility. We have 14 outpatient clinics across the state of Arkansas.
Right.
We have contact with about 1,000 people a month now. And when you add to that their immediate family and extended family, that's impacting the lives of a lot of folks. And I know that I'm not supposed to be proud, because pride is one of the 7 deadlies, but I'm kind of proud of that. So there you have it.
Yeah, I think you should be proud of that. That's really, really important work. And I think that this is something we've talked about, I think, along the way, is that, any organization that is only as good as its people, and really its leadership is the headspace of the leadership is so important. That's a big limiting factor. So I know you don't take full credit, and I'm sure you probably shouldn't, because I know you got a lot of good people working with you there. And I know you're not necessarily doing the daily operations, but you are help guide in the direction of the organization, I understand. And the more your head gets sort of squared away, the better you can show up and lead. Is that what you found?
Yeah, I think that's exactly the situation. As I have become more and more, I don't want to use the word confident, but more and more secure
Mm.
in my role. Uh, I've felt a lot easier about establishing some boundaries with our CEO, and uh,
Boundaries.
yeah, and some of our counselors were uh, really uh, intimidated by the teaching style of our previous licensed clinical social worker, and I've actually talked with them about maybe doing some work with you, because I I think that my experience in medicine taught me this, that if you only know one algorithm, when you get to the end of that algorithm and the patient doesn't hug your neck and tell you what a great job you did, you better have another algorithm.
You better have a plan B.
Yeah.
I like it. Got to have a second algorithm for sure.
So one trick ponies really don't do real well in healthcare, and this is healthcare.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good stuff, man. That's great. I'm glad. I'm proud of the work you guys are doing, helping people get sober and guiding them through that gauntlet is I think some of the most important work around. So my hat's off to you, for you and all the folks out there for the work. So good job. Keep it up.
Wow. It's a lot more fun to do a job because you want to than because you have to.
Do you feel like we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but I'm trying to get at sort of the changes. Like what changes have you seen in your life that you think maybe have come from our work together?
I think the realization that living in the present is the only option to find peace, to
Mm.
find calm. I think that the past is certainly something that I've learned a lot from, but I can't spend all my time there. And I've learned that I really don't have a lot of control over the future, so I just will not worry about it. And
Easier said than
living in the
done.
present, yeah, living in the present has certainly been an easier way for me to find calm, and that's my end game. Is just it's all about calm.
All about calm. I think that's a great goal. It's a fantastic aspiration for sure. So if there's somebody out there that's watching this who has something going on in their life and they've thought maybe I'll look at therapy or counseling or coaching, but I'm just not sure. Or maybe they've seen me and seen my videos and or whatever and thinking maybe I'll call Clay, but they're sort of on the fence. Is there anything you would say to that person?
I would encourage you to make the call. Uh, what, as you recall, Clay, when we first met, I pretty much knew everything, and I really didn't need a
It
lot of
was
help. I was
impressive.
going to
It was
just,
really impressive.
yeah, I was just going to get through, check the boxes, and be the valedictorian of my recovery class, and move on with my life. And you taught me that maybe it's a little more to it than that, you know. And what I would say to anybody who was considering counseling was, it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a less than. If anything, it has made me a more efficient and a more of a physician and less of a doctor, if
Hmm.
that makes any sense.
Yeah, can you want to talk about that for just a minute? Because I think that's I've heard you make that distinction before, and I think it's really, really important.
The way I see it, uh, doctors have knowledge, they know how to do a lot of things, and they do things to people for income. Physicians have wisdom, they know why they're doing the things that they do, and they do things for people for outcome. And that has been huge in the last 4 or 5 years of my life. And I'm grateful for the fact that I finally came to that realization. And you helped me with that, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. I'm so glad you got to figure that out and before you retired and put that to practice. And I think you're still practicing that even though you're not practicing medicine.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to help people without having to write prescriptions and grab the scalpel.
Absolutely.
I do, no kidding. And I'm saying this to you. This isn't for the purposes of recording or anything. Uh, we have come a long way, and I appreciate you. Thanks.
Well, sir, I appreciate you, and I think you're right. I think you've grown, and I've grown too. I've gotten the opportunity to work with you and lots of other people. Gosh, I guess at this time, hundreds, maybe even in the four digits at this point of people, and I've certainly learned a lot from you and everybody else. So I appreciate you showing up uh, with authenticity and doing the work. So thank you. Right back at you.
Appreciate you.